Hello, I'm Ryan Michael Galloway with WeDon'tNeedNoStinkingRecordCompany.com, and I'm doing a series with Professor Pooch, David Spangenberg, professor, who is an expert in entertainment law. And in the last post, we talked about some of the many different kinds of contracts you might run into. But right now, Professor, one of the things we talked about was, what if someone's offered a contract, but it ties them up for 5 years with a person or situation that they're not sure if it's productive? And this relates to something I've been, that whether or not it's a productive fit, maybe you don't know the person all that much, or what they're actually going to be able to do for you. And I think we talked about it earlier, and you hinted at two things that aren't in any contract. We might have even talked about it a little bit in the last post. But let's go ahead and talk about that one right now.
Okay, first of all, and hi everybody, first of all is, can you trust this person? Now, the thing is, it's not in any contract. They're going to be A, handling your money, and B, there's going to be a clause in that contract that gives them power of attorney. That means that that manager can sign your name to checks, to contracts, even though anybody who was a company would want the artist to sign.
Well, I'll tell you what. Every time I saw that in a contract as a kid, once I talked to a non-entertainment lawyer, they said, "Don't ever sign that." What is the way? Is there a way you can limit that clause? So that
you must limit it, and there's several ways of doing it. One is, I always put in, if I'm representing somebody, either one of two things, depending on which direction they're running. That the manager cannot sign anything that will last over 3 months, because all major contracts last more than 3 months. It's that simple, and you really don't want it the opposite way, where you have to give your okay on everything. I mean, like if they're signing a one-night thing for a gig, someplace, I usually make it, and most lawyers do, is once every three. If you have 1 3-day engagement is the most they could sign for you.
So you want them to be able to act quickly on stuff, but in a limited way, so that they can't sell your house for money.
I mean, it could be to the point, if you didn't have to be pass a physical, they could put you in the Army.
Yeah. Well, and now let's restate what power of attorney is, because I think there's a lot of people that don't know what it is. It is the ability for them to be you in terms of signing for anything.
Just about, and you must limit it. They're going to be signing your checks. They're going to be signing whatever. They could sign anything if you don't limit it. It must be limited.
Including endorsing your checks, I would imagine.
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah. And you want to state that it's put in a separate account, that's your account, not mingled with their money.
How do I know if I can trust somebody? Is there enough of a reputation on the average manager that I can go out and research them on the internet and find the horror stories and stuff like that?
I've been asked to grill people. Artists have asked me to grill supposed managers. Watch out for name droppers. I can go into long stories on that one. You want to be able to look them up on the internet, you should be able to find them easy. It's just like I tell people, hey, before you deal with me, look up Professor Pooch or David J. Spangenberg in Google.
See what you got, yeah.
Check them out. Ask people who are with them now. Ask people who used to be managed by them. Understanding that it could have been the artist's fault.
Now, what about getting out of the contract? What should I put in the contract to make sure that I can?
Well, my thing always is, if any contract that's going to last more than a few months, put in what I call an escape clause. Sometimes it's called a reversion clause, depending on what kind of contract. An escape clause gives you an escape out of the contract before it's supposed to end, because the manager has either broken the contract or done something wrong, or hasn't advanced your career. And an escape clause has 3 main parts. 1, a specific goal must be reached. 2, to a specific period of time. Or 3, you get out of the contract. For example, an example of an escape clause, if you give me a record deal in 18 months, I'm out of the contract. But warning about that, that's not specific enough. I mean, a record company, anybody can form their own record company nowadays.
Yeah.
You know, you want it to be, you want to stay specific, like nationally recognized and distributed, something like that effect.
Gotcha. And maybe, I suppose you could even define a certain amount of investment that that company is going to make in you and those kinds of things, because anybody, again, can sign you to a record contract and then nothing happen, right?
Oh, exactly. Well, record companies should have it. Not just sign it. They don't, a lot of times they'll record you and never release you. You never release the product, is what I mean.
And then you're tied up and you're going nowhere.
I mean, I could tell you stories of people that sign and 3 years later, nothing's been released.
Gotcha.
So it's like nothing's happening.
That's a good place to close off. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here with David Spangenberg, Professor Pooch. I'm Ryan Michael Galloway with We Don't Need No Stinking Record Company.com.